such an important topic to understand because it impacts us in so many ways in our lives. I think the first thing that I'd like to say is that we all have all four of these trauma responses. But for most people, one is particularly emphasized. And that one usually has a backup. And the other two are much, much less prominent. And the combinations of which one of those two and which one is prominent is different for everybody based on not just what the trauma is, but also what the personal trauma history is, as well as the individual's personality construct. So it can get a little bit complicated and involved. But we really only need to understand the basics of the problem, because what we really want to focus on and bring our awareness to is the ways in which we can overcome those things, the ways in which we can find our power in relation to those things. So if we start with the fight response, the fight response usually becomes the predominant trauma response in relation to trauma that, first of all, was experienced extremely young, particularly in utero, and trauma that was not correctly comprehended from a cognitive and a mental development point of view. So it's the very, very early and young traumatic experiences that tend to encourage a predominant fight response. Because what is internalized subconsciously is this core belief that I have to fight. Fighting is required. So from the very earliest times in the womb, this notion of my life is being threatened and my survival is at risk if I don't fight is programmed in very, very young. And so the personality tends to wrap itself around character traits like aggression and arrogance and being bombastic and coming across as hard, because there is this internalized belief in the necessity of fighting. So in life, the way that that plays out and what often triggers that response are things that aren't even really a threat. It could be something implied or something misunderstood or something just briefly mentioned. And this incredibly exaggerated fight response is automatic.